I rise today to offer Amendment S5003 that will increase the supplemental state aid for school districts across Iowa to 3%. This amendment means an additional $133 million for schools statewide compared to the Republican bill in front of us today. The Republicans say provides an additional $76 million. My wife and I lived in Arizona when we got married and had our son Henry. When Henry was born, schools suddenly became a major concern for us. The public schools where we lived were struggling due to chronic disinvestment, so we quickly began to weigh our options for Henry's future. Fortunately for us, the decision to pack up and move back to my wife's hometown of Cedar Falls, Iowa was a no-brainer. Yes, we wanted to be near her family, but central to our decision was the quality of schools in Cedar Falls and across Iowa. We didn't look at tax rates. We looked at the schools because high-quality, well-supported schools attract talent, and talent attracts businesses. It doesn't work the other way around. When we got to Cedar Falls, I got certified to teach and then taught junior high math, the hardest and lowest paying job I've ever had professionally. And I vividly remember the anticipation amongst my teacher colleagues at this time of year when we waited to find out how much funding Des Moines would provide for our school district and our kids. As a former teacher, I can tell you that teachers teach because they love kids and care deeply about their futures. But so many have been forced to reconsider their decision to enter the profession because of increasingly demanding and difficult conditions and chronic underpay. Later, as a school board member, I experienced this annual SSA anticipation tradition from that perspective. School boards have been placed in a tough position for years and having to allocate inadequate funding to meet all of the district's needs. The bottom line is that 2.1% is lower than the governor's proposal and the House Republican recommended funding for our schools. The bottom line is that this is not adequate funding for our schools, and I urge my colleagues to support Amendment S5003, a modest and affordable increase of 3% in basic school funding for our community schools. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senate File 2142, the Republican school funding bill means 125 school districts, over a third of all districts in this state, will continue to fall further behind and will actually receive less state funding next year. It means schools can't hire and retain enough teachers. Class sizes will go up, making teaching and learning more difficult. Students have fewer choices. Entire programs have been eliminated. Our teachers, support personnel, and administrators continue to do an amazing job with the limited resources they are given, but they can only do so much without additional funding. I'm offering this amendment to increase supplemental state aid to a still modest 3%. We're capable of much more, and I will continue to advocate for increased investment in public education until we demonstrate that it is one of our highest priorities. But in the meantime, the least we can do is increase funding by 3%. We owe it to our students, we owe it to our teachers and staff, and we owe it to the future of this great state and the economic prosperity of all of its people. I urge you to support this amendment, and I ask for a record roll call vote, Mr. President.